Hello everyone, Charles Watts here, the Arsenal correspondent at Goal, joining you on Friday. I hope all is well with you. The sun is shining, it's going to be a hot weekend here in the UK, so all is well and good. And Arsenal have released their new home kit. Finally, we've seen it for a long time before that because it's been leaked a long time ago. But it's officially been launched this morning along with Adidas. It's a nice kit, I have to say. I'm still not totally sold on it. I'm a bit of a sucker for a traditional red top and then white sleeves. I'm not sure about the white, all white down the sides, but look, it's a nice kit. It looks decent. Just a shame that Smit Rowe's contract wasn't announced with it. It's still not confirmed yet. Expecting it to be done and announced at some point, but not yet. I mean, Mikel basically admitted it after the game, didn't he? On Tuesday night when it comes to Smit Rowe, but I think we all kind of were presuming we were going to see him plastered potentially over the face of this kit launch. Hasn't been the case. He's still listed number 32 as well on the squad list, which doesn't make much sense to me when you think the club have spent the last 2 weeks basically winding up the fan base by covering his number in every single photo that they've taken on his training gear, and even having that pose of him with his hands over it like that. We all know he's going to change his squad number, so it just doesn't make much sense to me why they still listed him now and done this kit launch with the number 32 still there. Anyone who's going to buy that now, you think going to have to be refunded once his new shirt number is eventually revealed and they stop doing all this teasing that they've been doing for a while. But that's just my take on it all. I'm sure the club can afford it in that case, and they've thought it through, and maybe we'll see the whole number reveal when his contract gets announced, but we'll have to wait and see. But anyway, looking forward to seeing Smit Rowe in action again tomorrow night or tomorrow afternoon. Arsenal playing Rangers on Saturday, their second warm-up game of the summer. I'll get to that later on in this video. I mean, there's bits and pieces of transfer stuff flying around at the moment. Nothing really confirmed yet. Still waiting on the announcement of Albert Lokonga from Anderlecht. That's, you can sort of tick that box here. It's done and dusted. He's over here. He's waiting for the end of his isolation period for it all to be finished. I think he's already actually been to London Colney at the latter stages of this week to sort of get photos and all that sort of stuff done. So I think it's just a case of waiting on an announcement. No one needs to fret or worry about it or anything like that. It's going to happen. It's going to be announced. He's going to be the second Arsenal signing of the summer behind Nuno Tavares, who hopefully again we'll see play on Saturday. He didn't play against Hibs because some of the paperwork wasn't done in time, but we're expecting him to feature. He's been training, expecting him to feature against Rangers, so we should get our first look at him tomorrow. But yeah, I mean, when it comes to transfers and closest to being done, it's certainly that Lokonga one. Like I said, still waiting when it comes to Ben White and Houssem Aouar. There's talk now that Houssem Aouar is of interest to Tottenham Hotspur as well, which doesn't really surprise me. Even like Manchester United and Liverpool have been mentioned as possible clubs with interest in Aouar. When you look at the money that he could be available for this summer or is available for this summer, it doesn't surprise me that plenty are looking at him. I've said it before in these videos. Personally, for me, I think it's an absolute no-brainer. If I think you've got the opportunity to get Houssem Aouar for around £25 million, you just take it, because he's a very, very good footballer. Young, still only 23, massive ceiling to improve. If you're Arsenal, he's absolutely going to improve you in terms of your possible goal output from midfield. You can play him as a 10, you can play him as an 8. It's for me, it's just an absolute no-brainer. And 25 million quid. You just get, or 25 million euros, even whatever it is, you just get that deal done. You don't want to get caught napping and let someone else come in and grab him, especially if it's Tottenham. So it's going to be interesting to see how things progress with Aouar in the next couple of weeks. I mean, Arsenal at the moment, the focus is going to be on trying to get the deal done for Ben White. They're very far down the line with that one, as we've spoken about before on plenty of these videos with Brighton. It's not been done yet. The full agreement with Brighton hasn't been reached yet in terms of how the transfer fee and the clauses and the bonuses are going to be structured. That's what they're working through at the moment. Ben White obviously is on holiday after the Euros. He's very keen to get this move done. And he's on holiday, I think, probably 2 or 3 weeks at the moment. Whether that actually delays the transfer, we'll have to wait and see. I think first things first, Arsenal just need to get something agreed with Brighton, and then you worry about Ben White and maybe getting him back early from holiday so he can do a medical, that sort of thing. But first of all, you've got to get that deal done, and as it stands, it hasn't yet been done for Ben White. But that's certainly the one you think once Lokonga is over the line and finalised and confirmed, which is basically where we are. I think you're certainly going to see things move forward with Ben White, and that sort of follows on from William Saliba's move to Marseille, which has now been confirmed, obviously. That loan move was confirmed yesterday by Arsenal. We've just been waiting for that announcement. He's been in Marseille since Monday morning. The announcement came yesterday, and this is what Edu had to say on the statement that Arsenal released. If you haven't seen it, together with William, we've decided it will be good for his continued development to spend another season on loan. William joined us as an 18-year-old, and he's still only 20, so he's developing all the time. William is a player with strong natural ability, and next season has the potential to be really beneficial for him at Marseille, a good club. To play another season in League One will be very important for his development. We will, of course, be keeping in close contact with William during the season and wish him all the best in France with Marseille. I mean, make of that what you will. What he's had to say there's no out-and-out words there saying, he is still very much part of our plans and we're looking forward to welcoming him back next season. Doesn't quite go that far in that comments, but, it does talk about how they see it as a continued development for him. I've had my say on this before, and I'm like where he says here to play another season in League One will be very important for his development. I'm not so sure about that. I think if he really should have stayed in the Premier League. It's a good opportunity to prove himself in the Premier League. There was clubs interested, like I've said before, in him from over here. Newcastle, one of them. You go to the Premier League, you have a very good season over here, then there's no excuse after that for Arsenal to not play him, really. If he's shown he can cope with the demands of the Premier League week in, week out, then that's going to really put him at the forefront of Arsenal's minds. To go over to League One again, which, yes, it's a decent league, but we know he can play there. We know he does well there. Just felt like a good opportunity for him to really test himself, come out of his comfort zone of France, play in England, go up against the players that Arsenal are going to be going up against every single week and prove yourself. A little bit disappointed he's gone back to Marseille, or back to France with Marseille. But the good thing is, Marseille are a very big club. There's going to be a lot of pressure on him to perform there because of the side of the club, because of the demands that the fans have. They are in Europe this season, so there are certainly plus points to it as well. But for me, I just think I'd have liked to have seen William Saliba come back and play in the Premier League for a season before hopefully coming back to Arsenal next summer and making himself a very key part of this squad going forward, because I think that's what we all want, considering we haven't yet to see him. Okay, so Rangers tomorrow. Arsenal opening up pre-season with that 2-1 defeat, at Hibernian on Tuesday. They're back in action tomorrow at Ibrox playing against Steven Gerrard's side. Part of the 150th anniversary for celebrations for Rangers. Arsenal certainly will be keen to get a win under their belts in pre-season. Yes, results don't really matter at this stage, that old sort of cliche, but Mikel Arteta will be keen to build some sort of momentum going through this summer as we get to the start of next season. I didn't think they were actually that bad against Hibernian, especially in the second half, where I thought they were much, much better when Smit Rowe, Pepe and Lacazette came on. They just didn't take their chances, and they obviously gave away a couple of silly goals, although the second one was offside and wouldn't have counted in the Premier League. So they just need to get a little bit of a win. It's going to be difficult against a Rangers side who are good. Steven Gerrard's got them going. I think we'll see very similar sort of teams to what we saw against Hibernian. So, massive changes at half-time, pretty much a whole new team in the second half. We should be seeing Tavares. Like I said earlier on, we didn't get to see him against Hibernian because paperwork sort of ruled him out of that one. But Arsenal, he's been training up with the camp up in Scotland. And Arsenal are hopeful that he will be able to play some part against Rangers on Saturday. So that'll be good to see him involved. And we're going to see potentially Kieran Tierney as well. That warrior Kieran Tierney cutting short his holiday, linking up with the squad in Scotland. Of course he's going to do that. He's the Celtic boy, opportunity to play Rangers. He's not going to miss that, is he? And it appears like he might get some sort of run out in that game at Ibrox, which is great to see. yeah, it's just typical Kieran Tierney, isn't it? Cutting short your holiday to come back and link up with the squad early doors. It's just what he does. It's why he's so popular, and why hopefully if he stays injury free this season, he's going to be such a key part of this squad for Mikel Arteta. Interesting to see if we see Joe Willock and Ainsley Maitland-Niles on Saturday. Maitland-Niles obviously playing against Hibernian. There has been suggestions maybe Crystal Palace could be doing something or trying to get something done for Ainsley Maitland-Niles. I'm not sure about that myself. I haven't had it confirmed, but that's just what the sort of whispers that are doing the rounds. Will he be involved? If that is the case, we'll have to wait and see. Joe Willock wasn't involved on Tuesday night, despite him being up with the squad. Mikel Arteta saying after the game that he had an injury, but that all came at the same time where it really started to emerge at Newcastle. Had really sort of tried to step up their attempts at getting Willock back there on loan for the season. I had my say on that a couple of days ago in this videos. I don't really feel, as long as the only way I'd be happy with a loan at this stage for Joe Willock is if you absolutely get the obligation clause in there and you know full well 100% that you've got a guaranteed figure coming in and a decent figure coming in. You know, you want to be getting 25 million for Joe Willock. Look at some of the money Chelsea are getting for their youth players at the moment. Joe Willock scored 7 in 7 in the Premier League last season. His value might never ever be higher. If Arsenal can't get a good deal done for Joe Willock now, then they're never going to get a good deal done for anyone. And if they're just going to accept, say, a 15, 17, 19, whatever it is for Joe Willock, and only for that to come next season, it just doesn't make any sense to me now. So hopefully they can get some good business done for him. It'll be interesting to see if he played. He did train yesterday. He's out there with the group. So it seems like whatever this injury was, it wasn't a serious one because he's continuing to train. And yeah, like I said, it'll be interesting to see if he does get some sort of game time, his first game time off the summer. This Saturday, Callum Chambers and Rob Holding as well, they're training up there. They didn't play a part against Hibernian. Will they play a part against Rangers? You would think so. Everyone's going to be trying to get minutes now ahead of going over to America next week. Arsenal travel back from Scotland immediately after the Rangers games. They have a couple of days down here and then they fly out, I think Monday or Tuesday, to America for the Florida Cup, where they'll have 2 games over there in the space of a week while they're playing over in Florida before coming back. And you think now Arsenal want as many of their players getting some minutes in them as possible. So I'd expect we will see Callum Chambers and Rob Holding play against Rangers. Couple other little bits of news. Interesting that Arsenal had to close London Colney briefly to do a bit of a deep clean. A couple of the under 23s and under 18s, have tested positive for COVID. Now, obviously, this first team are away at the moment, so it doesn't affect them, and the coaching staff's away at the moment. They're up in Scotland, so it doesn't affect them, which is fortunate. But Arsenal have closed briefly the training complex. Those who are infected with coronavirus, they're having to isolate, and the rest of the complex is being given a very big, deep clean before it's being opened up again. Like I said, pretty fortunate that the first team weren't involved, because that could have been a bit of an issue had the first team been down there. But fortunately, they were away and sort of away from what's happened at London Colney. But Arsenal confident that they will get that one sorted out quickly before the first team are due to return. All right, that's about it for today's video. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. Arsenal versus Rangers, 2 p.m. kickoff tomorrow. You can watch it live on arsenal.com. I'm not going to be there, but I will be covering the game as usual. So keep your eyes peeled on my social media if you can't see the game or not, because I will be doing live updates as it goes, and hopefully getting some sort of comments from Mikel Arteta afterwards, putting out my usual stuff, and I'll try and do a review video as well if I get the time. Thanks for watching, everyone. Have a very good Friday. I'll speak to you soon.